Hi, and welcome to Stadia Source. We are going to be tackling the Cyberpunk news, which we broke last night. I'm joined by Adam here. So say hello, Adam.
Hello, Adam.
Good, you're learning. That's exactly what you're meant to be saying. So basically, last night we discovered that Cyberpunk is not going to be releasing on Stadia at the same time as PC, Xbox One, and PlayStation 4. And there has been quite a ruckus in the community about this, to put it mildly. And it seems to have ruffled quite a number of feathers. So, Adam, what's your quick take on this?
I think we already knew that it was going to be delayed anyway, but this certainly hammered it home. Um, I say we know because we report on this sort of stuff, so it's kind of always there for us. But there will be people who are new to Stadia who weren't aware, who haven't looked through the site or they haven't looked on Reddit to see these things. But personally, my issue isn't necessarily with the Cyberpunk. It's more to do with the lack of communication.
I'm just going through these comments here. Yes, I just drop the bombs and just walk away. That's what people from Northern Ireland do, isn't it? Controversial. It's a joke. It is a joke, and Alan's freaking out because of that joke. But yeah, it's a bit nuts. This again, yeah. A number of us have been saying that Cyberpunk has never been confirmed coming day and date to Stadia. There's been sloppiness from CD Projekt Red, and there has been sloppiness from Stadia as well. On Cyberpunk's website, it indicates that Stadia is getting a day and date, and Stadia has done its usual. It has put its head into the ground and fingers in the ears. We're not listening. We're not listening. So yeah, for me, there's faults on all sides here. So, Adam, is there anything you want to go on more here about the Stadia's communication in general?
So if we're speaking specifically about Stadia's communication, one thing I'm actually fed up with, and I was a massive Stadia fanboy. I was proper fanboying when I first joined Stadia, but now I've calmed down a bit. But one thing that's really starting to ruffle my feathers is this coming soon nonsense. Let's keep it PG. I can't wrap my head around why they keep saying coming soon, and then the next thing we hear is either from our site or Reddit to say that this game's been released or something. And I just think, credit to Chris and Grace. They're the faces of the PR. There's a whole team that's working there, but what are they doing? Why are they making so many mistakes?
Yeah, it is just totally and utterly shambolic. I'm going to use the word for the communication, and it's just so utterly frustrating that this technology and this gaming platform could be hamstrung by just the poor communication going forward. Because if you look out there in the community today, there is so many people saying this is the final straw. I'm now walking away from Stadia. I've had people PM me today saying this is it, they're away now. I think this is actually a bigger problem than people actually realize in the short term, because it is putting people off the platform, and big supporters are beginning to walk away from it now. Adam, what's your take on how the community's doing it?
Well, I think it's with the birth of the internet. I think knee-jerk reactions are everywhere. So everyone's knee-jerk reactions seem to be, or the majority seems to be, that's it, I've had enough, I'm walking away. Now, let's not forget, I'm going to try and play both sides here. Google is still in its infancy. right? It doesn't have the background that PlayStation or Xbox has, and despite the fact that Google owns so many different ways to communicate, Gmail, messages, all of this they've made, so they don't seem to be able to do it very well themselves. But I think a little bit of this is actually laying on quite a lot of this is actually laying on CD Projekt Red. But to go back to the actual question that you answered, that I kind of forgot halfway through talking, I think that it's just a knee-jerk reaction. People are upset, but it'll pass. Things will eventually change. Otherwise, Stadia is doomed to fail.
Yeah, just go to give a little explanation how we find this information out. Firstly, check out Eddie's video on it. He's just put it up there now. He explains how it was found and what his take on it. I pretty much in the Eddie camp here in regards to this. But I'll just start how we find this out, because it's actually interesting to put it out there. Myself and Dan were on a podcast yesterday promoting Stadia, or I wouldn't even go say promoting, but they invited us on to talk about Stadia and talk about the positives of Stadia. And we were struggling to answer a lot of the questions because of this bad communication from Stadia. What games are coming this month? What games are coming next week? What games are coming a couple of weeks' time? Sell me Stadia, do this, do that. And the problem for Stadia is the poor communication, and there's no big hit at this moment in time to draw people in. There's no big exclusive and things like that. So we continued on this discussion, and Eddie joined in and was giving his thoughts. And the topic turned to Cyberpunk. And Eddie said, "What platform are you going to play Cyberpunk on?" And everybody was giving their things, and I came off with a Stadia if it's available, because it hasn't been confirmed. And then Eddie said, "Yeah, it is confirmed." I'm saying, I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it's not confirmed. Nothing has been in writing. So I went to had a wee quick Jeffrey on the CD Projekt. Sorry, using the Cockney names. I had a wee look on the CD Projekt Red's press release thing, and actually found the press release from last week, and it actually had it in black and white there saying it was coming to Stadia later. And that is how I find this information out, that it was coming later. So Stadia has so many issues going forward here. They need to get things nailed down. And it isn't just Cyberpunk. This is going to put people off coming to the platform because they don't know what's coming. Adam?
Yeah, so we can understand a bit of a delay, because someone did it's not a perfect analogy. I've got to say it's not perfect, but they did a good analogy of, if you put, I believe it was Avery on Twitter, and he said that if you put if you put a cake in the oven and then you put another one in 10 minutes later, the one that you put in 10 minutes later is coming out 10 minutes later. It's not quite literally like that with game development, because they would have already had all the assets that they would have made, for example, and a lot of the code blocks which don't really need much changing. But I can understand there being a short delay. However, I wish they'd just been more vocal about it, because it was kind of it was hidden. The only people looking for press releases are the press.
Yep, exactly. And sometimes it's hidden away. If you actually go into the article, whether it's from the press release, it's actually hidden near the bottom. And it was just, and the worst thing about it, it was just a throwaway comment. It wasn't actually that much in it. It was just, I will just chuck this in here just to give some more information here, just like a standard sort of thing. So it is extremely frustrating with this. It's just wants to give you a shake. With Cyberpunk, we did know when it was originally going to launch that Stadia would be later, and I think everybody was going, yeah, that's absolutely spot on, we don't care about that. maybe not don't care. We understand that. But this new one, they should have came out and said it's still going to be later than the other platforms. We could go for a positive spin, as Eddie has alluded in his video. So check out his video. We could be getting the Xbox Series X version or the PlayStation 5 version, and it has to wait until them new consoles are out. And this could be running with Generation 2 Stadia, if you want to call it Generation 2, or the upgraded version of Stadia. So we have got the positives here we could take from it, or we could just take the negatives, that Stadia is a second thought on it, and it doesn't have enough of a player base to justify pushing the extra resources in to get it like there and date. What do you think? Do you think we're going to get the which sort of place are you in that, or have you got a completely different sort of take?
It makes a lot of sense what you're saying about them releasing, and what Eddie said as well, about them releasing in line with the new generation consoles. We still actually haven't had confirmation that Generation 2 Stadia exists, do we? Well, Google's not come out and said anything.
No, we're going by Stadia Cast, so we do have to give a pinch of salt, but I would believe Stadia Source or Stadia Cast in regards to that. You can take it either way you want. If you don't want to believe Stadia Cast, you don't, or pinch of salt and say, yeah, I'm gonna believe them. But we do know that Stadia is going to get upgraded in the future, so it isn't out from the realms of possibility that it could be happening. And I know myself, I think we are going to get a jump in specs come the new next-gen consoles.
Okay, and I was under the impression that Generation 2 is meant to make games run better. So that gives me the impression that they're not testing it at the moment. They're still developing it. They're still very much in the coding process and other bits like that. So I guess a delay was inevitable, but it could very well be that they're holding out to give us a better version than we would have got if they didn't hold out.
Yeah, so there's just so many question marks about this going forward. It's just nuts. We've got a question from Charles. So here's a question. Xbox and Nvidia both have the marketing rights to Cyberpunk. Do you think there's some stuff under the table going on? Oh, yep. All right. Go. Spit it out.
I'm sorry, but if that was the case, right, Google knows how much this means to their diehard fans. And the diehard fans are the ones that are bringing in the casual gamers. They're the ones who are saying to their mums and their dads and their sisters and their brothers, they're the ones that are going, oh, you should try out Stadia. If you don't want to buy a PlayStation or anything, you don't want a big bulky box, get a Stadia. Well, if this was the case, Google would just chuck a ton of money at it. Absolutely no problem. You know, my Google Assistant just decided to chime in then. Maybe he can answer for us. But I don't think it's got anything to do with that. I don't think it's seedy at all.
Okay, I'm going to go, yes, it is. Just to stir things up, I believe, I think I said at the time when GeForce Now came out with that I think they might have cloud exclusive rights first, as like a first on GeForce Now, that would get like a first on Stadia, because not only are they pushing GeForce Now with Cyberpunk, they're also pushing the graphics card. So I think there's a big tip, or there is some sort of agreement there. The Xbox, I don't think that's much of an issue, but the GeForce Now stuff, yeah, with Nvidia, I think that could have actually been a part of it, because they did make a big song and dance that they are first on, they're getting a day and date, and what was the other thing I'm going to say? My head is melted here today. But basically, I think there is a deal in place with Nvidia. So, yeah, going back to Dwayne's point here, that Cyberpunk is current gen and next gen is 2021. I can see that being maybe pushed on a bit. There's me bold predictions. Yeah, Dave, I think I just tackled that there, that there could have been contractual stuff. So it has to be 2 months after PlayStation thing. But I think it's actually more in line with the GeForce Now. We'll actually tackle this here. That is for me the big problem with this going forward. It is a lack of timeline that puts people off investing, and that's happening. This goes back to shadow drops. We don't know when things are coming. Games. How many of us are actually checking our app on 5 o'clock or 5 o'clock UK time, 12 o'clock East Coast time to see what's been updated? Oh, there's a new game. Here's a new Pro Deals. You find out things before Stadia actually announced them. Even if you go back a couple of weeks ago, we found out a couple of games were released on the app before the Stadia actually announced them. So this is just, it's communication. Adam?
Yeah, the biggest thing that I can't get my head around is I never knew about TweetDeck before I joined Stadia Source. And anyone who doesn't know what TweetDeck is, it's like a tool that allows multiple people to have access to one Twitter account, and you can schedule tweets on it. You can schedule tweets on a PC using Twitter, but you can't do it on a mobile version. And I know for a fact that Google uses, I don't know if they use TweetDeck, I think they use another one, but it does the same thing. And so they can schedule their tweets. And I also know for a fact that there is not someone sat in an office who clicks go live for a game. That would be all coded in, because they would have done multiple tests and all that jazz to make sure that it'll actually go in properly, that the store will update, etc., etc. So yeah, I just can't wrap my head around why they can't say, oh, well, we'll make that game come at 9 a.m. Why don't we put that tweet out at 9 a.m. as well? But instead what they're doing is they'll put a game out at 5 p.m. or I think Doom came at like 8:30 in the morning. Division, I think it was. And then with the Division especially, that came out at really early in the morning, and then they tweeted about it in the evening. It's like, what are you doing? What's going on? Make them line up. It makes no sense to have this imbalance.
Yeah, there seems to be just a total disconnect from what the gamers want, what's actually happening in the real world here. Just to give you an example, what's going on now in PlayStation and Xbox, or Xbox, I've got an Xbox as well. They have got sales on at the moment. They're doing big, massive sales. Because I don't know what is happening with Stadia, I'm looking at these sales and getting tempted to buy X game. Let's say Skyrim for Adam, special edition. And because I don't know what's coming on Stadia, I'm going to be spending my gaming money on Xbox and PlayStation, because I don't see what's actually coming. Knock it in the head, you. So and I'm budgeting my gaming money on Xbox and PlayStation now, because I don't know what's coming on Stadia. These shadow drops are great for, as Dwayne says here in the chat, for smaller games. But even the smaller games, I want to know what's coming so I can go, yeah, I'm going to get that game. So I'm going to hold off on this sale because I know this is coming to Stadia. The shadow drops are great if they're going straight into Pro, because everybody, or a lot of people, have got Pro for all the free games, but not actually just shadow dropping them out from nowhere just because. Because I did not pick up Dune 2 and what's the other game called? Sundered. I was tempted to actually get them, but I would just drop them out. I was like, I can't be bothered with that now. and nearly in badness, you need to communicate on when things are coming. What's your take on the shadow drops?
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but I swear that we didn't start with shadow drops. I swear every game was announced. Like, for example, you say the smaller games are great for being shadow dropped. Kine wasn't shadow dropped, and that's a small game. So I think, though, that might have been first on Stadia, though I'm not 100% sure. But I think it was the new year when we even started having shadow drops, and I don't know why they bothered with them. Either tell us everything that's coming or tell us nothing. But please give us bloody release dates. Stop saying coming soon.
Yeah, that is the big thing. We need timescales, even rough timescales. The Serious Sam is coming in. My head's from August, is it? June or July, or it's coming in the summer. They give us a month. I'm happy enough with a month, and then hopefully nail it down closer to the time. I've just seen Dave's comment here. Let's see if this works. Okay, Google, what's my name? Hopefully that worked. And then I'm in troll mode here. Oh, did I pick up our one? Yes, it did. Picked up my one. So, yeah, I think we need to get some sort of timetable, even rough timetable. I'm happy even with a month it's coming. Just give us some sort of timetable going forward. Let me see. Just going through here. Dwayne Anderson, FIFA being day and date. I'm pretty sure it's not day and date. I would nearly put money on it's not day and date because the terminology was very woolly around that, and it will come a couple of months after. There was something weird about the language, but we need to double check that. Do you think FIFA or Madden are going to come day and date?
I couldn't tell you. I know that PGA Tour. I can't remember the full name of the game. When I used to play it, it was whatever that golfer's name was.
Tiger Woods.
Yeah, it used to be TGA whatever it was bloody called. I used to play it on the PS1 and PS2, but I know that they've all been rated at the same time. But that doesn't necessarily mean they're all coming out. Mafia 2, all the editions of Mafia 2 got rated at the same time and still not available on Stadia, though apparently that's a good thing because of how poor the remake is. But to actually directly answer your question, I doubt it. I doubt we're getting anything day and date anymore, with the exception of indie titles or anything that uses a Unity engine. I don't think, or Unreal possibly. I honestly don't think we're getting anything day and date for a little while yet.
I will be positive. I think we're going to get. Avengers day and date. I think what else have we got day and date? We're going to get the golf game day and date because I think it was on the press release. It's coming day and date. We're going to get Formula One day and date. So there's a couple. Touch wood, we're going to get day and date. Just in case you've missed the article during the week, to get the pre-order bonuses for the F1 2020, you have to actually buy the deluxe version of the game. So it's just something to keep an eye on while we're waiting for pre-orders to go on Stadia. Let me see. Or shadow delay. I like that. Just say, yeah. Dave's just saying the pointer. FIFA will be always September in consoles, and they said winter for Stadia, so that's going to be a couple of months after. Here, they'll put this right. Do we think we'll get EA access onto Stadia, with EA starting to bring some games across? Adam?
I think they're only testing the waters first, and I felt the same way about Take-Two. That's why I'm a bit annoyed with the CEO. But I think they'll test the waters first. Ubisoft have definitely done it, and I think they're very happy with what they've got. And they seem wholeheartedly interested in cloud gaming. EA will do the same. They will do a little test the waters, and then possibly it will come, but I don't think it's coming this year or next year. Do you know, I'd actually be surprised to see Uplay Plus coming anytime soon either, because that thing keeps getting announced. I remember hearing about it maybe a year or two ago, something like that. And I read that it was coming to PlayStation, but now I can't seem to find the article anymore. But it just kept getting delayed.
Yeah. I think EA Access will probably come to Stadia at some stage. It's just been released on, or sorry, it's in the process of being released onto Steam. So that is just something to keep an eye on. I am conscious of time because I know everybody or a lot of people will be wanting to look at this Destiny event, which is live in game at 6 o'clock tonight. So that's going to be at the Tower. So I think Kelly would probably want to be watching that as well. Fallen Order, we know is, I think it's summer. That's going to be the first EA game which is coming to Stadia, so that isn't too far away. Touchwood. Hopefully that is not going to be a shadow drop. Here's an interesting question here from Anders D. Is it worth paying £500 for the next gen console for peace of mind, knowing basically every game is coming to your platform? Adam?
Well, it all depends, doesn't it? Because £500 is £500. There's a lot of people out there who have multiple consoles in their household. My mum's just bought 3 PlayStation 4s. I did tell her to wait until PS5 released, but she wanted them now. All these games will eventually come. The non-exclusive games will eventually come, but it's whether you're happy to wait. Google sold Stadia as being no downloads, no waiting, and all this. Well, I'm afraid they lied a little bit on the no waiting. I don't know if they directly said that, but there is waiting, that's for sure. That's definitely been hammered home over the last couple of days.
Yeah, the no waiting is starting to go. Anders, for the £500 for the next gen console, here's my take. I mentioned this in our podcast on Thursday night, I believe. The cost element of Stadia now is starting to run very thin. If you've invested into Xbox or PlayStation with many of their games coming across, that increases the value of that console going forward. This is before the peace of mind, actually knowing that the games are coming to your console or coming to your platform of choice. So cost, it's all up to you. For me, at this moment in time, Stadia is nearly placing themselves in as a secondary sort of system rather than your main one. And it's becoming clearer and clearer as it's going down the line here because we're missing out on all these big titles. It's like what the Switch used to be when it first launched. You got your Switch as a complementary to your existing consoles, and that's why Stadia seems to be going at the moment, except they're not getting the games. They really need to up the games. And when that happens and they start getting the big titles, that's when the value proposition becomes much better, and that's when the other big games will come. Richard's take is 500 is worth it for the best package, otherwise you end up buying one to play the games you can't get. Yep, that's much better than I was actually saying. So, are you getting the next Xbox and PlayStation, Duncan? I'll ask Adam that first.
Nope, absolutely. What are you asking me if you're getting it?
No, I'm asking if you're getting it. Are you getting the next Xbox or PlayStation?
No, there's no point. Absolutely no point. They both have cloud gaming systems. If I want to play any exclusives, I'll just use a free month or I'll pay for a month. I was saying yesterday in a Discord that since I found out that The Last of Us 2 is coming to PS4 and it's out in a couple of weeks, I genuinely have no reason to buy a PlayStation 5 now. So, and I don't like the Xbox exclusives anymore. I think they've milked that cow a little bit too much.
Yes, I'm getting both because Kelly is paying for both of them. Yeah, I will probably be picking up the Xbox and the PlayStation because I'm a gamer. I play on all systems. We play on all systems, as you can see. Xbox Cup as well. So I'm Xbox today. So yeah, I will be picking up other consoles. Is anybody else going to be picking up any other consoles in chat? The Guinness, who obviously lives in Dublin. How bad. Sadly, maybe need to buy the PS5 because of Cyberpunk, and it's down to Stadia's communication. Yeah, I'm seeing that a lot. I put the Reddit post up about this, and my notifications have been dinging all day, and everybody is 9 times out of 10. This is getting close to. This is the final straw. This is another nail in the coffin. This is going to do that. So yeah, it's very, very interesting how this is going to go. Let me see. The Destiny event is in the Qatar. No one knows what it is. It is a complete random thing. I think it's a bit like one of the Fortnite's things. So you need to go to the tower in Destiny at 6 o'clock. So I'm sorry, 35 or 25 minutes. Okay. Dave thinks we're 12 months away from day and date for everything. Yeah, we're now 18 months from, and give or take, 18 months since Stadia was officially announced. It would have been known about beforehand. This excuse that it's not day and date, for me, and I appreciate where you're coming from this, is starting to wear a bit thin about they don't have enough development time. But I think it's not down to the development time. I think it's down to a numbers game. If Stadia had 10 million users there, all these games would be coming to Stadia day and date. What do you think, Adam?
I think the excuse is wearing thin, but that doesn't mean it potentially any less valid. It may well be that, for example, when I did my article about Bethesda, the creation engine isn't geared up necessarily to compile for Linux-based system software. Sorry, I can't think of the words. But it would take time to change that, and then they may have to re-optimize the game. Something that's halfway through development before they're told, oh, we're also going to do it on this platform. I can't really make the excuse.
Okay, Kelly, you're buying them all, and will we hear just yes, no? Will we hear Gen 2 before next generation?
You're supposed to be getting me one.
Shut up, you. Will we hear about Gen 2 before the next generation console releases? Yes or no? I'm going, yes, we're going to hear in September time. There you go.
I think it's going to be shadow dropped and we're not going to hear about it until January.
Are we going to see a Stadia studio game? Dwayne thinks 2022. I've got my prediction.
I don't know. I don't even know if they've finished drawing up ideas for one yet. If it's 2022, I've got a feeling it's going to be an indie game, unless they're using the Chimera, I suppose. And but 2022. I'll go with the same.
Okay, you just answered why I think it's coming 2020. Project Chimera. Did I say it right? Perfect.
Chimera.
Chimera. I think we're going to get a Stadia studio game 2020, but it is not going to be a AAA one. It is going to be a smaller game just to showcase the title. And I think it's going to be that card game that they have shown off, so you can see lots of different things on it. And Kelly says not having pre-orders isn't good because she likes to see things going to set money aside. Absolutely. Consoles are chicken and egg. We'll need the numbers before people will come. Dave thinks late 2021. I reckon Jane has a plan already. What I'm thinking for a Stadia studio game will be a small one this year and a bigger one next year. And I think it's going to be like an MMO. So we're going to get like the basic version and it's just going to expand going out. And Zero Games for me says we're going to hear about it at the same time. Oh, hi, Chase. You've just joined as we're beginning to finish up here. But thanks for joining, and thanks for joining everybody here. Before we go, Adam, do you want to say anything more?
yeah, Google, please, start sending us some messages, start giving us some communication. We're dying for it here. I imagine some of this media blackout may be to do with the George Floyd protest, but it would have been a good idea to actually put that in writing. We are not going to be communicating or whatever over the next week. They haven't even done much support stuff lately either.
Yeah, exactly. They've just been radio silence. I think that if the not talking this week is due to the protests, I think everybody is on board, but I think we needed to put like out maybe a wee post saying this is why we're not speaking this week, and everybody would have been, yep, that's absolutely dead on. We're not going to do it. I think everybody is just assuming this is what it is because there hasn't been anything formally out there about it. Just one shout out here to Charles. He has actually created a post on the Stadia forum, Stadia community forum, and if you have any problems with the Stadia's communication, I would recommend that you go onto his post and put list your concerns there, because I do know that they read them there. But I would just want to thank everybody for joining us today, and I also would like to thank our patrons who sponsor our site. You get a number of perks if you're a patron. You got no ads on the website, and every single penny goes back to help Stadia stores get better. So I just want to thank absolutely everybody who has become a patron, because that actually matters quite a lot to us. So if there's nothing else there, I would like just to thank everybody for joining, and thank you for Adam for coming on here as well. So thank you all. Bye.